Okay, so now I'm going to share some research about what we're starting to learn about stress that's kind of unique and I think very important for first responders. So there are all sorts of different types of stress. Two ways to kind of look at stress is the time frame of stress and then is it the predictability of stress. So one of the things I'll start with explaining is the difference between immediate or short-term stress and then chronic stress, and I'll use some examples. So immediate stress is things like responding to an injury accident. That's immediate. It has a start and it has a finish. Chronic stress is stuff like having to work a full shift and going call to call day after day. That's more chronic stress, okay? So that's time frame specific stress. Then another type of stress I'm going to explain is the predictability of stress. So some things in your life have a predictable nature with regards to how stressful they are. So for example, you guys usually have to qualify at the range every year to 6 months or whatever, and that's a predictable stress. That stress is registered in the body one way, but then we're also finding that unpredictable stress, things like, hey, I never know what call is going to come next, that type of unpredictable stress registers differently in the body. So some of the research that we're finding out is that chronic unpredictable stress is actually the most harmful for the body. So that is stuff that's chronic. So call to call, day after day, chronic, and then unpredictable. I never know what is going to be next, what the next call is going to hold. That's the most difficult type of stress for the body to be able to process. And it's uniquely what first responders experience. The entire gamut of first responders experience chronic, unpredictable stress. And what that stress does is actually not super pleasant. So it makes it harder for us to relax over time. Basically, how the neurobiology starts to change in response to chronic, unpredictable stress is we're kind of always activated. And so it kind of wears out that circuitry in the brain. And then it also leads to what we're kind of calling a kindling effect, which is when you're exposed to stress over the long haul, when you say go home and you hang out with your spouse or your children, smaller stressors are more likely to trigger a strong response. And so sometimes we call that irritability or kind of having a short fuse, but we are very much finding that first responders, that is a thing that is tied to that chronic, unpredictable stress that you guys face every day.